But yeah, at the end of the day, it's like, hey man, trust the process and surround yourself with good people. You got good people in your corner, all will be well.
Welcome to another episode of the Levity Floatcast. Today we sit down with Jordan Valdez of BeLocal. So let's sit back, relax, and Floatcast. Jordan, I heard you parents in Texas. Where did you grow up?
So I'm originally from Dallas, Texas, but I grew up in the middle of nowhere in Pennsylvania by Ohio Powell, a little town called Confluence. So it was totally different world than Dallas, Texas. You know, Dallas is really cool. I love it. I love it for mainly family reasons, but it's just like one big shopping like center. You know what I mean? Just parking lot after parking lot after parking lot.
What is? Oh, my bad.
No, you're good. You're good. So we moved up here. My family moved up to Confluence, Pennsylvania. So there's not even a red light in Confluence. So it's out there, man. Yeah. So it's really out there. Actually, hold on one second.
You're good, man.
Wet hair is making this thing slip off me.
Oh, you're good.
What would you say is like the difference then in like styles of thought from like Texas living to Pennsylvania living?
That's a good question. I could also just answer that too, to like, you know, city living to like out in the middle of nowhere living.
Yeah. Cause
that's a big change, you know. Definitely slower pace in Confluence. I like the tight knit community of it though. I hated it as a kid, just full out. Like I hated it. Like I grew up skateboarding. I felt like a total outsider in Confluence. Like, you know, everybody was super excited for the first day of deer hunting season. I'm like, can I just go 2 counties away to my one friend that skateboards and like skate in his cold garage? So it was a little weird. But looking back, I like a lot of aspects of that small town vibe. You know, people looking out for each other, a little bit more neighborly.
Yeah.
And then kind of going back to what it's like, you know, running a business or just being in the day-to-day like to-dos. I envy that like slower pace sometimes.
For sure.
You know? Yeah. So I'm really grateful for how I grew up though, because I feel like my exposure in Dallas, my exposure in Confluence, and then, you know, you can call it finishing growing up in Pittsburgh, because, you know, I moved out here. I've been working in Pittsburgh since I was a teenager. And so, yeah, I finished growing up in Pittsburgh. I feel like that's allowed me to kind of be a little bit flexible too, as far as like my surroundings go, you know, and appreciate the diversity of like people. That's also why I love what I do, because I just love meeting people.
Man, you're such a people person, and you bring such a positive energy. I think just to be in the room with you is good. But that is such a well-honed skill. How did that start?
That didn't happen overnight.
Right on.
Yeah. I don't know. I wasn't like this stereotypical like kid in high school that was like, you're a jock, you're a punk, you're the artsy kid. I liked it all, you know. So I was a punk rock kid that skateboarded and was also the quarterback, you know. So and then you know, in art class, you know, from grade 7 through, you know, graduating. But that was actually just something that I've always liked people. I've always felt like comfortable in my like friendship circles. But to be quite honest, like I kind of always had this imposter syndrome, you know, growing up, because I didn't feel like I fit in with like the country kids that, you know, worked on their dad's truck, you know, and went hunting and did all this stuff. And honestly, I kind of felt pretty envious of those kids too, because like my dad wasn't around. Yeah. So I was a little embarrassed, but like, I don't know how to change the tire. Brakes. Like, dude, this is a whole thing. And then I felt like I'm like begging like extended family, like, hey, can you know, help me with my car? You know, like I don't know what I'm. So yeah, I had this like little bit of like imposter syndrome since I was a kid, honestly. And quite frankly, like still to this day, like that'll creep up every now and again. It's something you just got to check.
I think that's such an interesting thing. In your words, though, if you're using it, can you describe that? Like, what would you say the imposter syndrome is?
Imposter syndrome's, in a nutshell, kind of like, you know, walking into this is an easier example, you know, like let's just say you're going to some like networking event for business or something, and you show up feeling a little out of place, like, hey, I don't know if I'm good enough to be here. I don't know if they're going to respect me or what, you know, just feeling like you're out of place. And I don't know, I was actually watching a podcast a while back. I don't even know who the heck it was, but this guy had the kind of similar. He was expressing similar feelings. Like, yeah, I walk into a room and I just assume like most of these people are going to be like, who the heck is that dude?
Yeah.
You know, what's he about? And that was just something I kind of had to work on and really just get out of my head, because like I'm the center of my universe, right?
Yeah.
When I walk out this room, like your lives are going on, you know, it keeps it moving.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was something that I had to work on a little bit. But my kind of career path kind of molded me into being more comfortable with people and appreciating that, and being able to talk to myself out of like that lie, because that's what it is. It's a lie. We tell ourselves lies every day. You're not good enough, you know, whatever you want to fill in the blank with.
The shadow voice.
Yeah, the shadow voice, right? Yeah. But so today I just try to like get out of my head, which is, I think, honestly why like floating's, you know, valuable too, because it's a vehicle, and it's a training method mentally for that. So that's why I stopped in here in the first place, because I'm always trying to be a better version of myself.
I think that's so amazing for you to share too, man, because it's so important for people listening here to be able to have a few takeaways.
Yeah.
And I think it's just one of those great tools.
Yeah, 100%. So, you know, I put, you know, mental health, you know, if not more important, just as important as, you know, hitting the gym and getting, you know, and eating clean. Yeah. You know, and so based on where I'm at today in my life, you know, running a couple of different businesses in the Pittsburgh area, again, like the to-do, you've seen it. Like I show up here, I'm like, oh, I'm like wound up. Like I just, you know, and so, yeah, that's why well, of course, like, you know, I found out about floating, like a lot of people find out about it, you know, being a Joe Rogan fan. Yeah. And so I was watching that dude like talk about this for years and not really knowing like if there was anything in Pittsburgh. And then sure enough, like, you know, I find you, and I was super geeked that I did. Yeah, for sure.
You talked about getting out of your head to like overcome imposter syndrome on a day-to-day basis. Since like you're not floating every day, what are your techniques to get out of your head, or do you practice anything to help you kind of stay stable?
Yeah, good question. I think having a good morning routine is important. I mean, if you get off on the right foot, that you can carry momentum into the day, you know. So to me, that's important to me. So I like let's just say that somebody has a start, you know, they need to show up to the office, or they need to show up to work at like 9 a.m. Granted, like I can sleep all day, but it's important to like, you know, give yourself a little bit of time in the morning to like get ready, like not be doing your makeup on the highway while you're running 5 minutes late to the office, because that's already, you're setting yourself up failure for the day. You know, you're stressed out. You're like, oh my gosh, like I'm late, you know. So like my biggest thing is just being diligent and waking up and giving myself 10 extra minutes of quiet time in the morning, you know. So like I run on coffee. I drink like 3 pots of coffee a day. Also might be why I'm a little wound up sometimes. I mean, it is what it is, you know. And
it is
being
what
honest, it is what it is. Yeah. So, but, you know, even before I get that first fix of the day of my, you know, morning coffee, I want to just chill out and just sit in silence for 10 minutes. And then, you know, then I start my day, you know, get a shower, you know, get a workout in, get dressed for work and get ready to go. But then, you know, also just finding little tricks on how to trick your mind is important. So, you know, I drive around a lot in Pittsburgh. On a given day, I mean, I could be in the car for like 6-7 hours in a 2-mile radius, mind you. But I'm just like boop, 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 you know, making my rounds and stuff. So when I have a lot of like meetings and I'm meeting new people, I want to be in a good mood. So like one of the mental tricks that I have is I listen to comedy in the car, because I want to be kind of in a sillier, like happy mood. Like, hey dude, so nice to meet you. What's up? Like, who are you? Yeah. You know, that's a little mental trick. Or if I'm just, an album comes out and I'm just it really puts me in a good mood, then that might be my work theme for the next couple weeks. But trying to find little tricks to like get out of a funk, but also set yourself up for success that day, you know?
Man, I think I absolutely love your story, man. As we have met before and talking with Troy, I know you work with him a little more closely and see him more frequently, but I was real excited to hear your story coming from Texas and moving up here to Confluence, and how far along you've come. I think you have such a good presence and confidence. if you were to be able to go back, hop in the time machine and hop back, talk to a young man in Confluence who was feeling all alone, whose next friend was a couple counties over that only skateboarded. If you can go back and talk to that young human, what would you say to him?
Man, that's a good one. That's interesting. Yeah, if I could go back to a younger version of myself, I might just say like trust the process. Like that's because that's only something you can like really know hindsight. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Yeah, but just say, you know, hey Jordan, like trust the process, surround yourself with good people, and you know have faith in yourself too. Like that's something that's a little easier for hindsight too, but you know I still struggle with that imposter syndrome. I still, you know, deal with a lot of insecurities that all of us face, right? But every year, every day, you know, I get a little bit better at that because just like, you know, working out, you know, I try to work out, you know, 4 or 5 days a week. I'm trying. I'm not always. I have bad days.
Yeah,
I have good days. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I'm trying to become a more confident version of myself, and I think it's cool that's your perception and everything. And I think I have my confident days, and then I have my not so confident days. But I've learned to like kind of also like not take myself quite as serious.
Yeah.
Because again, I'm not the center of your universe or your universe, and I just, you know, I want to be a more authentic version of myself and just enjoy my community too. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's like, hey man, trust the process and surround yourself with good people. You got good people in your corner, all will be well.
I wanna relax, put my mind at ease. Good friends and good vibes, now that's all I need. When life hurts, come down and float in levity. Let your problems wash away into serenity. Whoa.